guys, I'm Rizza Damasco, and today's video is a compilation of opinions on the mediator personality, known for short as the INFPs.
The one thing great about being an INFP is that the world seems magical. INFP are pretty lazy. Lazy, sleep, lazy. Not that I hate cats, but there's always cats. And yes, in agreement with the others, INFP seems to have the whole night pre-planned in their head, and if it changes in the slightest, the night is ruined.
As an INTP, I envy INFP's ability to make joy look authentic. That's kind of a social superpower.
I'm an INTJ. My best friend is an INFP. We do have a lot of awkward moments when she mentions something emotional and I really try to empathize with her, or at least fake it, but it always falls flat.
I lack normal empathy, so relationships with them are always awkward when we aren't having sex. We don't think about them.
Peaceful, friendly, passively.
Sensitive, creative, intelligent, temperamental, thoughtful.
They generally wish they were INTP, and are kind of sad about it.
I'll put in my standard reply. Love healthy ones. I admire FI. It's strong. It fights for what is right. My sister is an INFP. She is more compassionate than any other person I can think of. She loves with strength and tenderness. She tells me when I'm acting foolish, but always in a way that promises that she'll be there for me. And if she has hurt me, she listens without becoming defensive, and then I can tell that she is making an effort to change that pattern of behavior.
INFP are super easy to hook up with, but don't know how to leave in the morning. And when you're horny again, there they are. 1 year later.
My mom is an INFP and we usually get along really well. The only thing that sometimes annoys me is she's scatterbrained and disorganized as hell. And sometimes it just seems like her head is in the clouds or off in fantasy land somewhere. Lol. I would probably have to smoke a pound of weed to get into the headspace she's in when she's sober. She's a paramedic though, and somehow she's excellent in emergencies. It's like she snaps out of the dream state and gets shit done all of a sudden. I get along well with them, but they usually end up being stressing as fuck. INFPs tend to play the victim in every situation, and believe they are entitled to everything just by making others feel sorry for them. And if you don't give them what they want, or don't feel sorry about them, they blame you and suddenly you're the evil one in the story.
Victim mentality and excess drama. 1 out of 10 would not bang again. Somewhere out there must be healthy specimens though.
My daughter is an INFP and she has a lot of feelings. I don't know how to handle it, really. I think she tries to get me to feel sorry for her, at times. I don't like that.
I agree. A lot of times it feels like they are sucking up and manipulating. But when you ask for something, they turn away and make excuses. And people still like that. My friend smooth talks his way through everything, gets everything, barely does anything, and still complains at the end of the day. And then gets even more support.
Married to one. Adore his emo self.
Pretty emo. Looks for an excuse to cry. Nice but moody.
Moody. I wish they would not indulge their negative emotions and wallow in them. They make things so much worse for themselves and the people that have to listen to them that way. I wish they would realize that positive emotions are equally valid, and indulging in negative emotions doesn't lead to anything good. You can acknowledge them without constantly wallowing in them. Also, please use logic. But I do admire their creativity and their desire to understand others and their emotions.
I'm INFP and I'm struggling with emotions. But it sometimes feels like a superpower when difficult people respond better to me and when I can de-escalate a situation.
INFP annoy me. head up in the clouds, letting themselves get tripped up by emotions, and muddles around in them instead of coming to a plan of action to set forth. Like INTP's spacehead little brother. Probably has a few John Green books sitting in their house.
I'm an ENTP and I have a few INFP friends and I really like them. One is flaky, she has anxiety, and her bleeding heart FB posts do induce an eye roll, but in person I enjoy our conversations. The other is pretty bleeding heart too, but she's not crazy about it at all, and she's pretty rational for an FI Dom. If I, as an INFP, choose to cry, you can be darn sure I'll do that in private and you'll never find it out. Public displays of strong emotions is something I avoid like a plague. In fact, if you don't know me well enough, one could think if I even have any emotions due to lack of them on my facial expression.
I would never want to date an INFP. I don't want to be a babysitter.
No, I love INFPs and dating them has always been a positive experience for me. The damaged ones I've met weren't evil, but they did have a problem exaggerating their own problems because of FI. I made the mistake of trying to open up to one when I was at my worst because she had complained about similar problems previously. However, the response I received was that her life was worse than 99% of people she knows. That she was set up for failure since the day she was born. And that if she could do it, I could also. That's the most narcissistic comforting I have ever received. We aren't friends anymore. I love INFPs because they are cute, but I hate them when they have a fucked up vision of the world through their feelings.
I'm crushing on an INFP. This is so true. I think he's amazing. He thinks he's worthless. It's like talking to a wall.
Couldn't agree more. Their lack of self-esteem is unattractive. I've met several INFPs and they usually seem to have this problem.
Yes. They were very insecure, would clam up fast, had a bucket load of insecurities, and could be a bit of a downer. But on the good side they were infinitely sympathetic and caring, protective, fierce when it came to standing up to injustice, and affectionate.
My INFP sister has had her struggles with assertiveness. It is hard to give that trait to someone and their assertiveness journey is sometimes very long and indirect. Lots of self-doubt and trouble trusting themselves to assert in the right.
I have a lot of INFP friends. My boyfriend is also INFP, and he's really the only one who has gotten over being used and letting people walk all over him. But in doing so he, I think, emphasized the use of his FI, which made him kind of dickish. He now just pushes people away by being rude or mean. He also got a tattoo to symbolize that he was done helping other people and done being walked on.
Pussies, but at least they got a brain. I know two INFP females both in a leadership position. Somehow, they both have a reputation of being cute Hitler-like, in the way they delegate and their stubbornness. I don't know why, must be their firm beliefs in certain core values. I love how I throw a big old bucket of ice-cold logic on my INFP wife, and she is able to dodge that shit like Neo from the Matrix. I try to Agent Smith her with logic blows and she just nopes them all with one hand tied behind her back.
I usually laugh a lot when I read descriptions of INFP. They all miss the logical side of us. Yes, we are dreamy. But we are analytical and thoughtful too. We are not whiny little fragile snowflakes. On the contrary, we are very strong because we know our strengths and weaknesses. I do love both sides of us.
People overlook it a lot because they're feeling DOMs in the psychological shadow of society. Society's consciousness is ESTJ. But INFPs are incredibly intelligent and analytical. Usually excellent and perfectionistic students too. I know several bona fide, definitely not mistyped, INFPs who are PhDs in mathematics, logical philosophy, coding, technological programming, and engineering. One of my best friends is an INFP. He has a 172 IQ and got a plus in all his theoretical math classes. Classes that the majority of Stanford students didn't qualify to take. To take these classes, you need a 5 on both the Calculus AB and BCAP tests.
My experience with INFP is they don't need you. I like to be needed. If they do need you, they don't say it. Too internal for me. I prefer someone is forward about their feelings.
INFPs are the most likely to keep to themselves and not bother anyone unless they see injustice on another person. So kind-hearted and sweet. Cannot take criticism though. Both my parents, my brother, and a close friend test as INFPs. It's annoying getting past the feels, but otherwise they can be wonderful to be with. Just be careful if they ask for criticism of their work. They tend to take things personally. My experience, okay at first. Draining after. Acts like a martyr most of the time. I stuck it out for 13 years. Drove me insane at the end. Very, very sensitive. Anything I said, ever, was a personal attack. I can barely keep my friends who are INFPs not having emotional turmoil when I say something. No way I could do that in a relationship. Very easily upset. Would not get along with me easily. I never want to date one. They're too sensitive, but as a human, I think they're adorable. I always like loyal people and they're loyal. All is well until a conflict arises and they favor some deep-rooted belief rather than what is reasonable.
It's trendy to hate on INFPs, but they're mostly good people. Sometimes they can be a bit rigid, but it's usually always coming from a good place. I like INFPs. They have great taste in music, and seem like overall good people. I've known some INFPs to get overwhelmed easily with problems in relationships, work, etc., but they are usually pretty resilient and can bounce back from these hardships or setbacks.
I like most INFPs because they are deep, not pretentious and smart, but don't aim for wealth. They remind me of a slightly depressed Yoda. So wise, but maybe not all there yet.
I've always liked them. They carry great conversations.
My mom is one. Super sweet, emotional, generous, artsy, always was kinda hipster before it was even a thing, doesn't like conflict, in her own little world, easily distracted, shy. They are sweet, gentle weirdo with a unique way of seeing the world. I love them.
I like INFPs a lot. My brother-in-law is an INFP and is a caring husband and father. His logic can be pretty crappy sometimes and he can be infantile when overly stressed, but he works hard and is overall just a great dude. His attitude and way of speaking kind of reminds me of Keanu Reeves, lol. He's a good guy to have some beers with, and likes anime and video games, which is one thing we bonded over.